Well, good morning and welcome to the morning after the review of Canelo versus Belanga from the T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas. You can see it at the back there, same location I did yesterday's video, but I thought it was fitting that I do the review in front of where the action all took place last night. So first of all, the event, the Mexican fans. It is Mexican Independence Day weekend here, and wow, they turned out in force. They love Canelo. He gets a little bit of a bad rap in a lot of the social media pages, a lot of the YouTube channels, all that sort of stuff, a lot of the fan forums, but I can tell you, the fans that don't get sort of involved in all that were here in force last night. 20,000 people, and felt like 30,000. It was the atmosphere was just fantastic. And when Canelo came out, I mean, actually even the prelims were quite entertaining, and even with the Garcia Lara fight, you know, it wasn't the most exciting fight, and that's what I love about the Mexicans as well. They actually let fighters know if they're not doing the right thing, and there's lots of boos throughout that fight, but I just love the way they support Canelo and all the Mexican heroes. Julio Cesar Chavez was there last night, and he got a rousing reception as well. So that was probably the most striking thing first off, is that the Mexican fans, how much they just love boxing, how much they love their fighters, and how much they love coming to Vegas to support them. So that was probably the main thing. The fights themselves, the undercard was okay. I thought Rolly Romero was, and actually I didn't watch that live, by the way. I actually had to watch the replay, or not even the replay, the highlights when I got back to the room last night. But look, just got the job done. James, I think it is. I didn't know this. We actually met him last year in Stockton when we were in Stockton for the Jason Maloney and Astrolabio fight, and my old mate Ronnie Picken pointed it out to me, and I forgot all about him. We'd even met him, but he fought Rolly Romero, and I thought Romero was just okay. Look, I've never been big on Romero as far as being a super talent goes. I know he's won the WBA title. I think it was, I'm not sure if it was an interim or full title, whatever it was, but I think he got actually I was going to say not what he deserved, but I think we saw what his capabilities are in the Isaac Cruz fight earlier in the year. I thought Isaac Cruz absolutely took him apart, and I think that's probably more a true reflection of where Rolly Romero's at. Look, he got the win, that's all he can do, and I'm sure there'll be big fights out there for him, and there was actually talk after the fight it could be Liam Paro, and I think that's a very, very winnable fight for Liam Paro. I think Liam Paro wins that fight actually quite comfortably if I had to make a prediction now. But the rest of the card, the Caleb Plant and Trevor McCumbee fight was actually quite good. I liked it. I didn't know much at all about Trevor McCumbee going in, if I'm being honest. I had to do a little bit of a research on him and look at a few YouTube videos, and yeah, I mean, he wasn't. I mean, I think he had a 28-0 record, but hadn't really fought anyone of note. And look, he had his moments. He caught Caleb Plant a few times early on and dropped him in one, I think it was the early rounds, the third or fourth round, whatever it was. But Caleb Plant, being the true professional that he is, an elite fighter that he is, got the job done later in the fight, and he did it really in style. He really did. He and I think it was only like, it was right on the bell of I think it was the 9th round, I think it was. And McCumbie's, he had McCumbie hurt. McCumbie had his arm actually caught in the ropes and just left him open to Caleb Plant's punches. And when Caleb Plant had his opportunity, he really took it. So that was good performance for Caleb Plant. And I think, I'm not quite sure he'll get another shot at Canelo or or Benavides and these types of guys, but he's certainly in the mix of, look, maybe it could be the William Skull fight for the IBF belt, I'm not sure, but just a workmanlike performance from Caleb Plant, and got the job done like he should have. There's probably ended the way that we all expected. But on to the semi-main event, and there's not really much to say. It was, as they say in boxing, a snooze fest. Not Caleb Plant, Danny Garcia. Look, for starters, I wasn't quite sure what to make of the fight. We all saw Arizlandi Lara earlier in the year, of course, when he demolished Michael Zarafa, but Danny Garcia's been out of the ring for a couple of years, and he looked okay in his last fight, Danny Garcia. He has had a lot of issues outside the ring as well with his mental health. It's good to see him back, but he really didn't turn up, if I'm being honest. He was very tentative from the word go. And the problem with the fight as well is that both fighters were very slick counter punchers, and when you've got two counter punchers who refuse to be the first one to punch, it's going to probably turn into what we saw last night. So I thought Lara picked it up a little bit as the rounds went on, but Danny Garcia really didn't get out of first gear, and you could probably see as the fight went on, I think the realisation really hit Danny Garcia that he didn't have it anymore. As I said, he had a few issues outside the ring, and he looked like a fighter who had just done enough in boxing, and maybe thought he had enough to beat Lara and go again for another shot at a world title, but just I think the realisation hit pretty quick that his heart wasn't in it anymore, and when he did get nailed, I mean, it was an okay shot, but he went down, more of a delayed reaction. But I think when he went back to the corner, I think the look that he gave his dad, Angel Garcia, was enough to have his dad not throw in the towel, but just tell the referee that he'd had enough. So I think it was a good stoppage in the end, and I think Danny Garcia, even though we got a lot of boos after the fight in the interview, look, I think we have to all be respectful of what he's done in the sport and the achievements he's had in the sport. So good luck to him. If this is his last fight, well, all the best to Danny Garcia. It's been great watching him over the years and been in some great fights. So on to the main event. Well, I've already mentioned the fan engagement, which was great, but when Canelo Alvarez got in the ring, man, I thought the roof was going to lift off. They absolutely love him, and Edgar Belanga played the villain very, very well, even to the point, getting in the ring, he had the rap music sort of playing, and he revved up the crowd a little bit, and and that probably reflected as the fight went on. Every time he got nailed with any type of punch, the crowd went up, they just went berserk. So look, I thought Belanga, I did say in my preview that I thought that he would start really fast. I thought, in a young guy like this, inexperienced, I know he had 22 fights, he's had 23 fights now, but I thought with him trying to maybe assert his authority on the fight, maybe get Canelo's attention, maybe give himself a little bit more confidence to get into the fight early. I was very surprised that he started very cautiously. He allowed Canelo, who came out really aggressively, by the way, I thought he allowed Canelo to really dominate the fight early, and it just wasn't the start that he needed. I think he needed to start quickly just to give himself that little bit of belief that he could beat Canelo, but right from the word go, very tentative, very reluctant to engage, and really just set the path for the rest of the fight. And of course, then in the third round, he got dropped with that left hook, and what a beautiful punch. And the thing with Canelo, the way he throws the punch, he just doesn't give you any indication he's going to throw it. Most fighters will step to the left a little bit, maybe just twist the shoulder a little bit before they throw it, just give you an indication of what's going to happen. But Canelo doesn't throw his hook like that. He doesn't throw his hook like that. It's just like a whipping sort of punch. It just comes out of nowhere, and he just times it so well, and he hit Belanga beautifully. I don't think he was overly hurt. I think it was more just a shock of bang, there it was, and he found himself on the canvas. But Canelo almost got the job done. He did really follow up, and I wasn't quite sure what would happen, because Belanga, what he should have been doing is moving and clinching and holding and doing the things that probably normal, experienced fighters do. But he really then went punch for punch with Canelo, and I was a little bit worried that that was going to be it for him right there, because Canelo is such a pinpoint puncher, such great timing and anticipation. I thought he was going to time Belanga and get him out of there, but to Belanga's credit, he hung in there. But then it really just went back to where the first 2 or 3 rounds had been for the next couple, and with Canelo pressing forward, Belanga on the move, jabbing, and really not giving anything to Canelo to worry about. And that was just, I think, my big fault on Belanga in the fight. He just continued to allow Canelo to push the action, push the fight, control the fight more importantly. and Belanga was just on the foot for the entire fight. And you know, he had his moments. As the fight went on and later in the fight, you can see that Canelo probably took a couple of rounds off, and they were probably the rounds that Belanga actually won. I did say in the video yesterday that I struggled to give Belanga a round. Look, that's probably been a little bit harsh. He did probably get a couple of those later rounds. I think the judges had it, might have given him, well, I think one might have given him 2, the other one might have given him 3, I can't remember. But look, it was just a workmanlike performance from Canelo. Belanga did try and pick it up a little bit too in those last couple of rounds, but Canelo had the fight won by then and really was just doing what he pleased. But I just thought it was, excuse me, just desert air. Look, a real workmanlike performance by Canelo. The only probably fault I had on Canelo is that he's probably lost the ability to get these guys out of there. I mean, don't get me wrong. Belanga is a great young talent. He's a big guy as well, and the size difference was very visual for us all to see. But the inability for Canelo to get these guys out of there. I think this is his 5th fight in a row where he's gone the distance, the 12 rounds. And they've all sort of been a little bit of a replica of each other, haven't they? So, but look at, what is he, 33, 34 years old. He's had a lot of fights. I think he's had, 67 fights or something now. So I'm certainly not going to criticise Canelo Alvarez because he's at the point where he probably doesn't need to take as many risks as maybe he used to. The body's obviously slowing down a little bit. You know, so look, no dramas there, and I think he'll continue to beat the types of guys that we're seeing in Belanga and Munguia and so on. But I'm not quite sure what's next for Canelo, whether he does take the Crawford fight. The gut feel says that could still be an option. I don't think the Benavides fight is really on the table at the moment. So really, when you think about it, there's not really that much left for Canelo Alvarez to do, which probably does maybe bring up the Crawford fight. Maybe it's an extra challenge. I don't know, but be interesting to see what Canelo does next in his career. May, I think it is. He'll be back Cinco de Mayo weekend, so we'll look on in anticipation to see what he's going to do next. But look, he's earned a rest at the moment, Canelo. What I love about him, he's always stuck to his schedule. He fights twice a year, every year, sometimes 3 times a year, and you cannot fault him for that because a lot of his peers have never been anywhere near as consistent as Canelo. And look, the Benavides fight aside, I know we all want that fight, but apart from that, look, he's really just cleaned out division after division after division. So, and I get that we want the Benavides fight, but I'm not that stressed about it. Would we like to see it? Yes, we would. But I don't really think it affects Canelo's legacy once the dust settles on his career. So I'm sure he'll have a couple of months break now and probably keep fit in the gym, and then he'll look to what he's going to do in May. But guys, that is it for the Canelo Belanga review. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you along on my journeys for the last couple of weeks. I'm going to miss Vegas. It's been great fun. I'm not going to miss the crowds and all that sort of stuff, but that's Vegas. That's what you come here for, and that's what you got to expect. So it's all good. But guys, I'm about an hour away from heading to the airport to start my journey home. I'm going from Vegas to LA, then to Sydney, and then to Melbourne. So it's going to be probably about a 24-hour exercise, but it's all good. I've done it numerous times, and I really love that part of coming over to America as well. So guys, thanks again, and we'll catch you on the next adventures of the Boxing Deep Dive Tours.